Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda.
Well, there you go, guys. You just seen it. When he was talking to the TED Talk, we can get one of these numbers down to zero, well, and straight away then to reproductive health. And we know what happened with the clot shot. The reproduction health went right down. We just recently I got informed that now that you can get IVF on not Centrelink payments, but whatever they call that, payments, Medicare. So they're succeeding. They're getting that. They're slowly knocking us down one by one. The other day, some friends of mine were in a particular place camping, and they've had troubles with the authorities not liking them camping there. They flew the helicopter over them about 10 times a day for 3 days, and all of a sudden they've all come down sick. The whole lot of them, they've got this mysterious flu-like virus. They're just going hardcore, guys. We've got to keep going. We've got to keep fighting. They are losing. We are winning. But if we back off for even just a minute, they're going to get us. They're going to take us down. They're never going to stand up, put their hand up in the air and go, guys, you were right. We were doing it on purpose, dragging you down. They're never going to do that. You can't stop. You can't think that it's gone back to normal. You can't. Normal. What do you class as normal, right? It's like, it's time to start thinking about growing your own food in your backyard, Instead of sitting there watching TV and these reality TV shows, how about jump off the lounge, go out the back, dig a garden, throw in next year's food, because you're going to need it. You're going to need food. You're going to need to have your own food. You're going to have to grow it, guys. It's coming. It's coming. Just look at what they're doing. What they will do if you don't have your own food is we'll feed you. We'll feed you. It's all right. Just come and sign up over to this digital ID over here, and we'll give you some food. And your food will be GMO. It'll be bug flour. We know this is happening. We've already got schools that are sending out messages to their parents saying that next year the cooking classes are going to be done with bug flour. And what do you mean? What's bug flour? This is where they get crickets and all this sort of stuff, and they grind them up and they put them into the replacement parts in the flour. And the people go, well, you know, people eat bugs all over the world. We don't have the digestive system for breaking that sort of stuff down. Just because you can eat it doesn't mean you should eat it. And that's another way they're going to do it. You know, digital IDs. People go, oh yeah, but it's voluntary, is it? Well, the guys that are in the mines at the moment, they're going, right, if you want a digital ID, if you want a black coal license, you have to get them black coal medical. To get a black coal medical, you have to do the digital ID. Hang on a minute, that's what, just like the mandates? All these people are going to lose their jobs if they don't do what they're told? Exactly. They made it, mandates were voluntary too, remember? The forced medical procedure was going to be voluntary. The ScoMo jumped up and said, we're not going to mandate this. And all of a sudden, all these people losing jobs because they wouldn't do it. Because they didn't mandate it, they just forced them because they have businesses. They give them what they give the BHP. They gave them a 75% tax break for 3 years if they got their 100% vaccinated staff. It's the sort of thing that's going to happen, guys. It's time to get ready for the serious shit. Like in the housing in Brisbane at the moment, very, very, very scarce. A lot of people homeless. Lots and lots of people homeless. So what they do? Oh, they did the right thing, right? They gave them free housing in the wellness centre that they built for COVID. Think about the wellness centre they built for COVID, right? They put 50 million taxpayers' money in it and 250 million of private money in it. Privateers don't put money in if they're not going to get something back. Now, they've just filled it up with all the homeless people from Brisbane. There was another wellness centre in Brisbane right down by the water in Pinkenbar. They didn't give them that one. They gave that wellness centre to the AFP so they could train on how to deal with people in that style of centre. So they've just given the wellness centre in Toowoomba to the people that are homeless. Oh, by the way, they're not taking the fencing down and they're going to lock it at night. So there's going to be a curfew basically. And then they had to give the AFP the other wellness centre to train in. What is it telling you? That's right. They're going to train to sort those people out in that other wellness centre. And why didn't they give the one in Brisbane to the people who lived in Brisbane who were homeless? And then give the one up there for training in? Because they want all the homeless people out of Brisbane. Why do they do that? Well, we've got the Olympics coming for a start. So there's a good start. And they just don't like people that they can't control. They haven't got a house and they haven't got a loan and they haven't got debt. They can't control them. Just remember, the government can't control people who aren't classified as criminals or aren't in the system. And the government will keep making laws and rules to make good men and women criminals or trap you in the system somehow. Digital ID is the next one that's going to get you.
This is your last opportunity. This is your last chance to get vaccinated.
Quarantine facility that you announced that will be built, I think, in the middle of next year. Do you still need that?
I think regional quarantine facilities are going to be needed into the future. We'll also need it for unvaccinated people.
Unvaccinated people. Unvaccinated people.
This is your last opportunity. This is your last chance to get vaccinated.
It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling. You feel like you're in prison. You feel like you've done something wrong. It's inhumane what they're doing. Like you are so small. They just overpower you and you're literally nothing. It's like you do what we say or you're in trouble. We'll lock you up for longer. Yeah, they were even threatening me that if I was to do this again, we will extend your time in here.
Hello and welcome to Unheard. I'm Freddie Sayers. Australia. Until recently, that country was most famous for its sunshine and relaxed attitude. Well, since the COVID pandemic hit, we've all got to know another side of Australia. With some of the longest and most stringent lockdowns and travel restrictions in the world, it's become a case study of what happens when a government will do anything to keep COVID numbers low. Their latest policy is to build special camps, COVID internment camps, to which infected and suspected infected people are moved. The biggest of these camps is called Howard Springs. It houses up to 2,000 inmates, surrounded by tall fences and carefully policed against attempts to escape. It's been described as the gold standard of such camps and is being replicated across Australia. Joining us today on the line from Darwin in the Northern Territories is Hayley Hodgson. She has just returned from a 14-day, let's say, stay at Howard Springs, and she's agreed to tell us all about it. Hi, Hayley.
Hi, how you going?
So we are really keen to just hear what's happened to you. It sounds like you've had quite an interesting last couple of weeks. Take us right back to the beginning. How did this all start?
Okay, so how it all started was a friend of mine went to work and got tested for COVID. He had a little bit of a cold. He tested positive. He got put into this quarantine camp. And then we went about our days as normal, and then the investigators starting to knock on our doors and stuff like that. So then what actually happened was I had investigators come. I walked out the front of...
Just to interrupt you, so how did they investigate you? Were you part of a contact tracing kind of list? Or?
So what they did is how they contacted me was I have a scooter and they ran my number plates, and they ran the number plates and seen the footage that I was with the person who had tested positive, and that's how they knocked on my door and knew where I lived from running my number plates.
Okay. So then did they call you up, or did they come straight to the house, or what happens next?
Yeah, so they came straight to my house. I didn't get a call or anything. I literally walked out the front and it was two undercover investigators, and they said, "Oh, do you know so-and-so?" I said, "Yes." They said, "Have you been with them?" And I said, "Yep." I told them my whereabouts, where I'd been, everything like that. And they said, "No worries." And they said, "Had you had a COVID test done?" I said, "Yes, I had," when I hadn't, just because I was so scared of in the moment. And I've been to one of these quarantine camps before, only literally a month before this. So I know what it was like. I was just really scared. It was just a horrible position to be in. And I just lied and said, "Look, yeah, I have," when I hadn't. They said, they drove off. About 5 minutes later, they called me and they said, "We've tried to check the system and your name's nowhere. We can't find you." And I said, "Look, I've lied to you. I'm completely sorry. I'm so apologetic. I'm scared. I don't want to, this is just such a scary thing." And they said, "Yep, righto, stay there. Someone's going to come and test you." I said, "All right." So I stayed there and I just waited for someone to come and test me. No one came to test me. The next people who rocked up at my house were two other police officers. They blocked my driveway.
These are actually uniformed police officers, normal police officers.
Yeah. So then the police officers blocked my driveway. I walked out and I said, "What's going on? Are you guys testing me for COVID? What's happening?" They said, "No, you're getting taken away and you have no choice. You're going to Howard Springs. You either come with us now and we'll put you in the back of the divvy van, or you can have a choice to get a COVID cab." So of course I chose the COVID cab because they said, "Well, if we're to take you, we're going to hand you a $5,000 fine." So of course I didn't want that to happen. So I just said, "Look, I don't consent to this. I don't understand why I can't just self-isolate at home like a lot of other people are doing." And they just said, "We've just been told from higher up where to take you, and that's all that there is."
So Howard Springs is the biggest COVID camp in Australia, isn't it? It's a huge network of cabins that is built to house potentially infected people.
Yeah, so they are literally bringing in now hundreds of people that are of close contact or that have COVID. So it doesn't even matter if you test negative on your first test, your second or your third. They need to, because you're a close contact, you have to stay in there for 14 days, no matter what.
So let's get back to this situation at your house. So these two policemen, what is the choice they give you exactly? It's come with us in this van, or you get a $5,000 fine.
Yeah, so it's you come with us, we take you there, and you're given a $5,000 fine, or we will call a COVID cab, and we will not fine you. So it's pretty much you have to consent, otherwise you're getting a $5,000 fine.
Okay, so then some hours later, the COVID cab arrives.
Yeah, it was probably the policeman stayed at my driveway until this cab came. They said, "Can you please go pack a bag?" So I went and packed a bag, and whilst I was packing my bag, I had my housemates at the front speaking to them, and they said, "Is she able to just do a test? And once that test comes back negative, is she able to, you know, leave and come back to normal life?" And these police officers said, "Yes, we're pretty sure that all you have to do is return a negative test and you'll be released." So that gave me, you know, that calmed me down, knowing, okay, well, if I return a negative test, I can just go back home. So I got in the COVID cab, and the police...
I think we've got some footage that your mum took, actually, that we can play of you waving goodbye and getting into the back of a van.
Have just come and she's being taken away. But look at the COVID van.
Bistro, pokies and functions.
How professional. Long live COVID.
That is a COVID taxi, but is actually a casino bus. So driving there, and then the police escorted me in, and then I never seen them police again. They left. They weren't allowed into the facility. So then new police came, and they were in charge. Obviously, I was very distressed. I was crying. I was saying, this isn't fair. You know, it was just horrible to go through. And I stood there and I just said, "Can I please have a test now? Because I need these test results back, as I will be negative." And I later on I was negative. The whole time I was there, I was negative. And I said, "Once these go negative, am I allowed to leave?" And she said, "No, you're here for the 14 days."
So the first time you found out that you were there for 14 days was when you arrived?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get taken to a room, is it? A cabin? What's life like inside these camps?
You literally get put on the back of a golf buggy with your bags, and these people are in hazmat suits and everything. They don't want to come near you because they think you're infectious, and they literally drop you to your room and they leave you. They don't come and say anything. They don't check up. They don't do anything. You know, you get delivered your meals once a day and you are just left.
And are you allowed to talk to people? I mean, we could have you spoken to people from inside the camp?
We can, but we're only allowed to stay in our designated areas, which is nothing, maybe 2 meters. We have a deck that we're allowed to go out and maybe get a little bit of sunlight, but that is it. If you get caught off your decking without a mask on or anything, you get a $5,000 fine. And then that happened to me. So I didn't get a $5,000 fine. I got a written up warning, which is, I actually sent you guys some footage on that as well.
Yeah, so tell us about what we're about to see here. So these are the officials inside the camp who are disciplining you because you were apparently not being contained within your area. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. So I went to the bin to put something in the bin that I was not wearing a mask. Mind you, I actually have an exemption. I don't need to wear a mask. I have a medical condition. And the person that came to hand me the notice was another police officer.
So what's the go?
So this, I'm going to give you a warning, yeah? It's an official warning that you have to stand in the balcony and obey the rules while you get, yeah? And that's, we have to go the rules again. I don't care.
So am I allowed to go to the laundry?
You're allowed to go to the laundry, but you've got to wear a mask, yeah?
Yeah, righto.
Yeah. And you definitely can't go up the fence anywhere else, but you're allowed to go to the laundry, yeah? That's always been the case, yeah?
Right, so if I was sitting just here, which is right near the fence, why are these guys in a cabin that's right near the fence? It makes no sense, does it?
Yeah, but you can't leave your balcony to go to the fence to talk to somebody else. That's just obvious, yeah?
So if I was at that balcony...
Have to make sense. So there has to be lines everywhere drawn, yeah? And one of the lines is you cannot leave your balcony and you cannot go to someone else. Where it makes no sense or it doesn't seem right to you, that is the line, and that's what the law is, yeah, and that's how it goes, yeah?
The law.
Well, the show direction.
There's a law that says
show
that.
direction, yep, there's a show direction, yeah, and how the behaviour must be done, especially in this area because it's much more highly infectious and likely to have infected people, yeah?
Highly infectious when all of us people are negative.
So far, the risk is still very high, yeah? Just while you're here, can we just do that? Otherwise, the next time it's a $5,000 fine, and we don't want to do that.
It's a $5,000 fine if what?
Fine. If you breach again.
If I walk out onto that path.
Without your mask on, for no reason other than the wrong
If I cross that yellow line,
saying that you've broken the rule.
that I've broken the rule, I will be issued with a $5,000 fine.
That's correct.
Right.
Okay. We could even do that now, but we're giving the warning first. Have a chat with you because it's a big fine. Rather just do the right thing, yeah? Like I said, I'm not here to fight with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight with you.
Yeah.
I just want everybody to do the right thing, and unfortunately it's my job to make sure they do. I don't care the ins and outs. It's got nothing to do with me. I'm just here to make sure the rules are here. Yeah?
So what did that experience make you think? Like what was your feeling about being in that situation with those people in control of your every movement?
Oh, it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling. You feel like you're in prison. You feel like you've done something wrong. It's inhumane what they're doing. Like you are so small. They just overpower you and you're literally nothing. It's like you do what we say or you're in trouble. We'll lock you up for longer. Yeah, they were even threatening me that if I was to do this again, we will extend your time in here.
So the officers within the camp have the power to keep you there longer if you misbehave?
That's what they were saying, yep.
And at one stage, is it true that they offered you Valium?
Yeah, so because I was so distressed and I said, can you just please let me out for a walk or a run? Like I'm in this little box and I can't move. Can I please, I'm anxious, I'm feeling not well, I need to get out. And they literally said, we've got a doctor calling you and we'll get some Valium prescribed to you that you can call us anytime you like and you can have Valium.
Just to calm you down?
Yeah.
So when did this end, Hayley? You were in there for the full 14 days?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, 14 days.
And that was a few days ago that you came out?
Yeah, I think I've been out a week and a half now.
So during that whole time, how many times were you tested and did you ever test positive?
Never tested positive at all, and I was tested 3 times.
So at the moment, you haven't had COVID?
Never had COVID, and I was of close contact to someone, never got it, and I was treated literally like a criminal.
What's happened to you since you came out?
I no longer have a job as I was casual at where I was working, so I am now unemployed.
So you were working in a store or what? How did that happen?
Yeah, so I was just working in a retail store. Obviously casual, you don't get paid any sick leave or for being away from your job. So I wasn't getting paid or anything whilst I was being in there. They compensated me, I think, $1,500 for the 2 weeks. And that was all.
So you've lost your job?
Yeah. Now currently unemployed because of this situation.
There's been a lot of press in Australian media about how these camps are really luxurious and it's like having a holiday. Did it feel like a holiday for you?
No way. You are literally trapped in a box on your decking with fences all around you, cameras everywhere. Like it's just astounding. Like you're literally treated like a prisoner in there.
So let's zoom out a little bit, Hayley. You've been living through this for the past couple of years. What is happening, do you think, to Australia and to your country?
Well, it's so hard. It's like people aren't, we just abide by the rules and we're just going with the flow. But this flow doesn't seem to be getting any better. Like, we have hardly any numbers and they're doing this to us still. It's just crazy. I originally lived in Victoria, Melbourne, where it was really, really bad, and we had lockdowns. We've been in lockdowns for months and months. And the reason why I moved to Darwin was to get away from that because Darwin wasn't as bad and the lockdowns weren't happening. So once I moved up here, it was all fine. And then that one case happened, and it's just crazy. Like, they locked the whole state down, and just sending heaps and heaps of people there, because this, obviously Darwin is the only place that has this quarantine camp in Australia.
Because in the international media, it's been reported that Australia is kind of relaxing a bit, or at least the rules about international travel are relaxing. They no longer plan to have zero COVID. They're going to understand that they need to manage it. Does it feel like it's getting better over there?
I think every state is different. At the moment, Darwin is really, really harsh with it, with what's going on and stuff. I think other states are relaxing as more people are getting vaccinated. But the unvaccinated people who choose not to be are just looked at like prisoners, and that they're doing the wrong thing.
So what are you going to do next, Hayley? What comes next for you?
What comes next? Well, find a job. That's definitely. And really want to get awareness out to what is going on. Like, these camps are getting built all over the world. I know there's another one getting built in Victoria at the moment. And as I said, it doesn't matter if you're not vaccinated. You have one dosage of the vaccination or two. It doesn't matter your vaccination status. You can get sent to these camps if you are of close contact, like I was, or if you lie to authorities, as I found out, because I said that I had a test when I hadn't, and then I found out later that I was in there for punishment.
Who told you that?
CDC, Centre Disease Control.
So they say that your sentence, your 2-week incarceration, was actually punishment for having said you got a test and when you didn't.
Yeah. When other people were of close contact and they were allowed to self-isolate at home, where there was probably about 10 of them, and I was the only one that got sent there. And that's what I was saying. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why am I the only one here? I want answers to this. And that was the only time that I got an answer, is when I rang CDC, and they said, yeah, there's a high chance that you're in there for punishment because you lied to authorities.
At any stage of this process, did anyone tell you your rights? Have you had any contact with a lawyer? Has there been any kind of legal process?
Nothing. I've had nothing. Literally, it's so hard. No one really wants, nobody knows. That's the thing. So it's like you're on your own in these situations, and, you just left. That's all. Like, there's no help when you're in this camp, and there's no help when you're out of this camp. Like, it's just, you do your time and we'll leave you alone. That's all there is.
So we've heard that people have been trying to escape this Howard Springs camp in the past few days. What do you know about that?
Yeah, I did hear that I think 3 people have escaped. I don't know if they've found them yet, but yeah, they have escaped.
And do you understand why they would do that? I mean, give us a sort of summary of what your mental state has been like during this period, and what the whole experience has done to you.
Oh, trust me, when I was in there, I was thinking, how do I escape? But, what are going to be the consequences if I do and if I get caught? It's an ongoing thing. Your mental health, it's just, as I said, like, you're in a box, your mind's just going a million miles an hour. You feel horrible. You feel, it's just horrible what they're putting people through, because you feel like you've done something wrong when you haven't. All you were doing is going about your normal life, and you were close contact with someone who was ill. That's all it is.
Hayley, thank you so much for telling us your story.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
That was Hayley Hodgson. Thanks to her for telling her story. She joined us from Darwin in the Northern Territories in Australia, telling us about her last 2 or 3 weeks, which have been, to say the least, quite unusual. And let's just remember that this is a person who has not had COVID, even now. And here she is. She's lost her job, and she's just spent 14 days in voluntary incarceration. Raises, I think, some quite important questions about what the end goal of all this is. Thank you to her, and thanks to you for joining. This was Unheard.
But this is the thing. For all these buildings, has created a gas pipe that is connected to nothing. Right here. The rest of the building, the air conditioning, the hot water, electrical and that. What's this from here? It's through the wall. It's through. It's going to come through the ventilating. Right? What are they going to gas us in with?
So it sounds like they want this guy to stay here longer, which is concerning for me because he's stayed here for 14 days.
Mate, you gotta take me somewhere fucking else!
Calm down or you're gonna get fucking gassed.
Fucking do it then!
Alright.
This is your last opportunity. This is your last chance to get vaccinated.
Quarantine facility that you announced that will be built, I think, in the middle of next year. Do you still need that?
I think regional quarantine facilities are going to be needed into the future. We'll also need it for unvaccinated people.
Unvaccinated people. Unvaccinated people.
They're afraid of you noticing what's going on and speaking your mind and standing up, and you're sitting there thinking that you don't matter. Well, if you don't matter, then why are they spending trillions of dollars on trying to keep you quiet? Our voices matter. Our actions matter. How we live matters. And if we don't realize that we're falling into this trap,
We need to come together and do one thing: stop participating. And when we do that, the game is over. When we literally say Monday morning, we're not going to go to work. Imagine if 30 million people didn't go to work Monday. Imagine if 30 million people didn't buy gas on Monday. Imagine if 30 million people went to the bank on Monday and said, I want to withdraw all my money. They can't even give it to all 30 million because only 15% of the cash is available on hand at any given time. The rest is fake zeros and ones. That would collapse the banking system in one day. You see the power in that? You have the power. But we all have the power. But what's keeping us back from doing this? Fear. Oh my God, if I don't go to work, I'm going to get fired. And if they don't participate in it, and I'm the only one that doesn't show up for work, I'm going to lose out, and you're not going to be able to pay my rent. I'm not going to be able to make my car payment, and so forth and so on. You see the trap they have us in? They have us in this system where we're afraid to work together. We're afraid to be like, man, we're brothers. We should be, link up. Let's do this together. So that's where we got to get to, guys. We got to get to the point where we're literally all on the same accord, and that's going to happen. We've got to get to that point.
If we want to get our country back under our care and control here, our custody, and to remove the belligerent occupation, then all of it must go. All of it. Not this or that, but all of it. And what does that all of it mean? Well, it's parliaments, it's local councils, it's courts, it's law enforcement, it's taxation office, because all of it, according to the entire body of evidence that has been published by some of the best researching people, I think, in our family, broader family, that I've just aforementioned, they say it's belligerent, right? They say it's illegal. They say it's all fake. They say there's no common seal. They say all sorts of things, right? And they prove it.
G'day Aussies. Look, we know courage is as rare as rock and horse shit. But find something within yourself to get on and sign up for the National Strike. www.nationalstrikeaustralia.org. Let's end this belligerent occupation and take our country back and give our children a future that we want, not what they want.